I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend so far. It is that time of the afternoon, time to give an update on what's happening out in the tropics. Of course, we do this every day right around 4 p.m. until the end of hurricane season. So make sure that you tune in to find out what's going on out there in the tropics, which can just blow up and get really active very quickly. At this point, though, of course, for the month of June, since we are in June, we're looking at the areas that we normally look for development. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't get development outside of these areas, but we normally see development around the Gulf of Mexico for the month of June. Nothing right now, but an area that we're definitely watching closely. Also, the Western Caribbean, that is a hot spot for development as well. So we'll be monitoring that area very closely for the rest of this month especially. And then down towards the Bahamas, this would be the southwestern Atlantic, just to the east of Miami and the rest of South Florida. We would monitor this spot for potential tropical cyclone development. However, at this point, absolutely nothing going on out there in the Gulf of Mexico, in the Caribbean, or in the Atlantic as far as areas to watch that we're concerned about maybe potentially becoming a tropical system. We do have some clouds, some showers out there in central and eastern portions of the Atlantic, but at this point, the National Hurricane Center saying no tropical cyclone activity expected over the next 48 hours. So this is nice. Hopefully we can keep this up as we zoom through the rest of hurricane season, but we all know that things will likely take a turn at some point, especially as we get closer to the peak of hurricane season in August and September. Quick view of the Gulf of Mexico, and notice there's not a lot of wind out there. We've got our buoys in the central and eastern Gulf picking up wind speeds only around 5 to about 12 miles per hour. So it is tranquil out there, and that's because we've got high pressure setting up shop, and that big heat dome or area of high pressure will start to push and increase and expand over southeast Texas as we go through the week. So we're expecting extremely quiet weather here, nothing threatening us from the Gulf of Mexico on the tropical side. So things are looking good. We've got some showers and storms as you look over towards northern portions of Florida, southern portions of Alabama, but nothing that we're concerned about that would turn into anything tropical out in the Gulf. Down around the western central Caribbean, we're not really seeing a whole lot at this point. Just a little bit of convection out there, a few showers and storms for portions of the Cuba area and also down towards Central America. A little bit of shower and storm activity, but nothing that we're monitoring that could turn into a tropical depression, tropical storm, or hurricane. Now, of course, earlier this year, we did get the official Colorado State University forecast for this hurricane season before it started. Now, initially, the forecast was for 13 named storms, but they did bump that up at the beginning of hurricane season. So 15 named storms expected, 7 of those becoming hurricanes and 3 becoming major hurricanes. Of course, that is category 3 or greater on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Now, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration also came out with their forecast, and they do more of a range instead of specific numbers. And they're talking about 12 to 17 named storms, 5 to 9 hurricanes, and of those, 1 to 4 becoming major hurricanes. We all know that it only takes one of those storms to really wreak havoc and cause major, potentially catastrophic damage. So we're hoping we don't get any of these, but at this point, it does appear that both of the forecasts are calling for a close to average season. Now, this average is taken from 1991 to 2020, and that usually includes about 14 named storms. Of those, 7 becoming hurricanes, and of those, 3 becoming major hurricanes. And we know exactly what those types of hurricanes can do. Just look back to last year and Hurricane Ian as it wreaked havoc across much of Florida. So hopefully we won't get anything like that throughout the entire season, but of course we are tracking it closely and we're keeping you updated. Sea surface temps are heating up. We had a few 70s showing up on this map last week. Now look at this. We've got low to middle 80s for those water temps in the Gulf of Mexico. Out in the Caribbean, we've got middle 80s. So we definitely have the warm water to support any tropical development that happens to pop up. We just don't really have anything forming, and we hope things stay that way. So we're still pretty much at the beginning, or very close to the beginning of hurricane season. We've got all the way through the end of November, and of course that peak of hurricane season usually in the months of August and especially the middle of September. So that is when we really start to pay close attention to what's happening out there, because that's usually when we get the highest number of tropical cyclones that could potentially turn into hurricanes. So we will be monitoring things closely, but as you can see, historically, at the beginning of hurricane season, the first few weeks of June, we usually don't have that much activity out there. And right now, we don't have any activity out there. But of course, we did briefly have Arlene that became a tropical storm for a little bit. It didn't stick around for long. It kind of fell apart and weakened. But of course, if we do get another system developing, the next name on the list would be Brett. And of course, we do have the 4 new names on this list that hasn't been used since 2017, since these names are usually recycled every 6 years. But if one of those names actually blows up and becomes a monstrous tropical storm or hurricane doing a lot of damage, it is retired. So the 4 names retired are Harvey, Irma, Maria, and Nate. And the new names this season will be Harold, Idalia, Margot, and Nigel. So hopefully we won't have any of those devastating hurricanes producing a lot of damage across the U.S. or anywhere else. But of course, if we do see something developing, we're here to let you know first, and you definitely need to be aware. Make sure you have that hurricane plan in place in case we do have a system heading towards the Houston area. Also, make sure to download our Fox 26 weather app. You can get the latest on any tropical weather happenings, forecast cones, our Follow Me feature, and hurricane watches and warnings if and when we get those. They will be on this app. So just head to the App Store, search for Fox 26 if you haven't already, and make sure to grab our Fox 26 weather app. Well, that is it today for the tropical update. It is extremely quiet out there, and hopefully it stays that way. We don't want any of those nasty systems heading towards us or anywhere else. But of course, if we do see something developing, we will be here every day right around 4 p.m. to let you know. Have a great evening.